Morning, guys. It's time to flow with it. Just breathe and move through the motions. I'll talk a little bit, but I'll be pretty quiet, honestly, on this one. And I just want you to breathe and connect with your body and see what every movement feels like. You live within your body, so listen to it and modify anything that you need to, and just enjoy the movement therapy. Here we go. Excuse me, Ruth. Modify here, dropping to the knees, pulling the feet towards the seat to take the weight off of the patella onto the lower part of the thigh. Breathe. Belly to spine, chest open, back strong. Opening up the feet for more range. Pike the tail. Soften into those knees if you need to. Look to the hands. Monkey walk it back. Bend into those knees. Push out of the feet. Scoop low belly. Restack your bones. Adding a Pilates push-up. Take a deep breath, and it's a 3 count down, 1 push to the top. Belly to spine. Knees wide, toes together. Push back and release. Pull the belly to the spine. Find your shell stretch. Scooping low belly, articulating up onto the sit bones. Restacking the bones. I'm going to grab a pillow. This is my meditation pillow, but it could be any pillow. Just something that gives you a couple of inches up off the ground. So in this position, you want to remove the meat from the bones. So you want to sit right onto the sacrum. In this position also, I want you to think about energy from your pinky toe up the lateral line of the leg. So you're energized, rooting through your sit bones and growing through the crown of your head. Just take a deep breath in here. Exhale, ribs to hips, pelvic floor picks up, transverse turns on.
front of you. They're just going to be about hip width, maybe just wide of. You're still sitting up out of those sit bones. You're going to dig the heels almost into the ground, pulling the toes to the nose. Soften the knees. You don't want them to be jammed out. I want the back line of the legs connected from the heel right into those sit bones, right up the back line, and it kind of hooks right into the forehead. So imagine that kind of elastic, and you're pulling and lengthening up and out. So nothing's off here. Breathe. Settle into it. So I always think of it's like I'm being held by my head, and I'm just shaking my bones free, lengthening through my spine, trying to create space, sending breath there. With each movement, we're starting to build all the tiny muscles that support the spine. Breathing through it. It's very inside-out work, so the more you can connect your mind to your soul, to your breath, to your movement, the more you're going to get out of this. Let those shoulders go. We spend so much time here. It's like, oh, can we just shake it off? I'm still pulling belly to spine. Still using my exhale breath to pull or to draw the idea of my ribs to my hips. I'm not going to do that, but it's that energy, the little suspenders between the two. Breathing here. We're going to add some arms here. Your range of motion and opening with the arms is up to you. Mine might look completely different, and it will one side to the other. This is my injured side, so I have to usually modify with it. Take a deep breath in here. You're just going to add a rotation. So I'm trying to stay stable into those sit bones, grounding down into my cushion as I twist. Maybe your twist is here. Doesn't matter. Just find your end range where you can maintain this connection. And you're going to exhale to come back to center. We're up on this cushion so that it allows your hip flexors to turn off. That's also why we're bending the knees a bit. Take a breath and rotate the other way. So it's almost as if the opposite rib is going to twist towards the opposite hip. Big inhale, exhale. The whole idea is that I'm corkscrewing taller, so I'm not going to twist and then come back and dump it off. Sit tall and twist and let it go. I'm sitting up and out of my bones, stacked like a Jenga game, and I'm going to twist, and I'm going to stay tall and come back to center, and twist, add energy out those fingers, and pull back. If you don't like the long arm, just like we did the other day, you can bend the arm. Still pushing energy out my heels into the floor and out my sit bones and out the crown of my head. Deep breath in. There we go. We're going to add on here. So we're going to go into a sort of saw variation. So that's our spine twist. It's nice to get moving into that rotation. The more you can think of it like almost like you're a Barbie doll, where the lower half is actually separated from the top half, and you can find that rotation with control and with breath. That connection piece is huge. If you can ground the bottom and move the top, and vice versa sometimes. So take a breath here. We're going to go back into that rotation. I want you to think about this pinky is going to pull belly to spine, and I'm going to saw this pinky toe off with this pinky finger. Maybe you're not going to reach there. Maybe you're at the calf or the shin. Maybe you're at the knee. Any movement is great movement. You'll come back to center, you'll flow it all the way around, and you'll saw 1, 2, 3. This back hand is rotated. Palm is pushing back, and I'm reaching. It's almost like I'm being pulled here as I'm shooting energy here. I'm going to sit it back up. I'm being pulled back up. I'm going to twist it all the way around. I'm going to reach and reach and saw, saw, saw. Sit it up. And saw, saw, saw. Up. There's my tall corkscrew. You can start to fold it over. And let it go. And now let everything go. Blech. Right? You don't realize the power that you've even got shooting through your legs as you're trying to stabilize. Shake that off, but it's just such a yummy torso twist and opener. You can take that cushion out. We're going to go into just a little bit of prone. So you're face down. You're going to come all the way down to the mat. Hands are by shoulders. I'm going to take my legs out to the edges of my mat, and I'm going to laterally turn it open. So this is a nice place just to open up through the pelvis, through the hips. It gives you a little bit more range. Drawing the shoulders down. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to float my nose. We're just going to start to open up extension. Rolling the marble, eyes look. And now from here, I'm going to mush the chest. Wheel the shoulders down, coming up to about the rib cage. Big breath in. Exhaling, lengthening, out and away. I'm going to draw my hands back. You might want to go through a few more of those. I did some stretches earlier, so I'm pretty warm. I'm going to go into like a grasshopper arm. Deep breath in, roll the marble, eyes, neutral spine, mush the chest. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to pick the belly up, not push it into the ground. And I'm going to come up into a nice extension. Your extension, you might be here, all right? And that's totally fine. Breathe into it. So I don't want to dump my head back here because there I've just broken my neutral spine. So I want to think, follow the line of the spine. Breathe. And I'm going to lengthen. This is my swan. And I'm going to lengthen it all the way back down. Big inhale. And I'm going to exhale, rolling. This time we're going to stay here. So no matter where your extension leaves you, you're going to add a head turn. So it's just a slight turn. It's not a crank of the neck. It's just a, can I mobilize through the neck? Can I check if my neck extensors and my traps have taken over? Pulling belly to spine. Big breath in. Curl the toes under. Push out of the hands. Scoop the belly. And you're going to round back into your shell. Always releasing the spine from extension, carefully articulating into flexion, and then we'll restack it to neutral. I'm going to go into some leg work here. You could, if you had your foam roller or a rolled up blanket. You could add this. I'll show it with it, and then I'll do it without. So you could add this underneath you. So you're here, you're going to articulate up, roll that underneath the sacrum. This right here, I could stay here all day long. This feels so amazing. Take a breath, connect ribs to hips. Take a deep breath in, ribs to hips. Exhale, one leg up to tabletop, and then the other. So this is where you can you might have to adjust it a little. If you're on a roller, you'll have to hold on to it. If you're on a rolled up blanket, you could just ground your arms. Maybe you're just up onto a pillow. So you could just be up onto something like this. It's anything to lift yourself up. So I'm going to show it maybe on the pillow because most people have a pillow. So I'm going to roll myself up, roll that out, roll down, and I'll just push that out of the way. I'm going to bring the pillow underneath me. So I'm going to articulate, roll up into that hip roll. I'm going to place the pillow underneath, play with it a little bit. Mine's got some beans in it. Still feels fabulous. Breathe into it. I'm going to engage the back line of my arms. Take a deep breath in. Exhale up. So again, ribs to hips. I'm in a bit of an imprint spine here, right? So I'm on my sacrum and I'm curled in towards me just enough to keep everything engaged. So I'm going to go take a breath, lengthen my legs up. I'm going to go into scissor. So scissor is a double pulse, draw together, double pulse, draw together. If you don't get the breath down, it's okay. Can you just please remember to breathe? That's the most important thing. So it's a s, 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 s. If we were on the ground, we would roll our head and neck up. Because we're elevated, we're going to keep our head and neck down. We're growing energy out both legs. They're trying to reach. Almost imagine there's like an elastic band between them. I'm trying to equally pull, draw together, pull, pull together. So it's s, 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 s. Keeping connected. S, 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 s. You can play with the breath there as well. You could be s, 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 s. Take a big breath in. Staying in this position, we're going to just kind of keep this series going. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Aw. Sorry, squirrel. I love hummingbirds. Wow. Hi, Mama. Okay, legs back up. You're going to split into that scissor again. The leg that's shooting away is going to dip. You're going to drag your toe through water. You're going to find scissor, dip. This is all stabilized. Drag your toe through water, find that scissor, dip. So I don't want to let it drop. Those hips will want to drop and open. So everything is controlled, everything is connected. So it's split to scissor, dip, draw it up and through, scissor, dip, up and through, scissor, bicycle the leg through, bicycle the leg through. You're always thinking about drawing to the center line as well. It's very easy to just kind of let your legs open into a bit of a lateral rotation from the hip. So I want you to be very aware if you're kind of rolling your legs out, keep rolling them back to the center line like you're always going to like rub your legs together. So you're going to go from scissor to bicycle. Then we're going to go into lower and lift. Ribs and hips are connected. Back line of the arms help you here. Big inhale, breath, prepare. Exhale, lowering the legs. You're only lowering them to where you can maintain this connection. Big breath, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to stay, exhale to move. If that's feeling okay, you're going to exhale, or you're going to inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Inhale only if this is maintained, exhale to lift. If you start to pop, go back to the inhale to prepare, exhale to move, inhale to stay, exhale to lift. Then from here, we're going to go into hip circles. So I want you to really think about the hip joint, and we're stirring the joint, okay? So we're stirring the head of the femur in that hip socket. We're trying to lube up the joints, create some synovial fluid. Take a deep breath in, and you're going to lower the legs. You're going to open them. They're going to sweep out and around, and you're going to lower and sweep out and around. Inhale down, exhale, back together. Hold it here. I'm going to reverse it. So I'm going to inhale to open, flex those heels. I'm going to scoop down, heels meet. I'm going to lateral turn out, point the toe, and I'm going to exhale to lift. Open, around. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, just let those legs come into you. We're going to bring them back up to tabletop. You're going to take heels together, toes apart. So, I don't know, see that. So you're like a frog. Heels together, toes apart, knees are wide. Okay, maybe I'll show it from a different angle for this one. Okay, so you're here. Still have this same connection. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to exhale. Push it out. That's it. And pull it back in. And it's a press. And bend. Exhale, press. Inhale, bend. Bend and stretch, press. Bend. We're going to add on here. So you're going to press it out. You're going to open, close, open, close, open, close. Bend it in. Press it away. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Bend it in. We're going to add on. You're going to press it away. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Lift, lower. Frog leg it back in. Press it away. Open, close. 3, 2, 1. Lift, lower. Bend it in. Press it away one more time. 3, 2, 1. Lift. Lower, bend it in, wrap those legs closed, just breathe. Let everything melt. You're going to slowly lower one foot down and then the other. I'm going to wiggle my way back onto my mat. Okay, from this position, feet are hip width apart. You're going to take a breath, and you're going to exhale. You're going to roll through the pelvic wheel, and you're going to come up. So you're up into your
your hip roll, your bridge, and you're going to slide your foam roller, your blanket, or your pillow out. Just put it to the side. Engage the back line of the arms. You're resting, but lifting out of your upper thoracic. Chest is open, collarbone is wide. Take a breath and sink through the sternum. So again, melting sternum. You're trying to roll and articulate down through the spine. You want to feel like you can push every vertebra down, create space, and then wheel through. Take a second there, because this should feel really nice because you were elevated, and this could feel really good. So you could just, let's take a second here. Oh, lengthen it out and just feel that space. Feel the openness across your pelvis, hip flexors. Hopefully the release through your low lumbar, through your sacrum. Just let it go. Just let the legs do what they want here. Take a couple more breaths. Remember those ribs, it's like a lampshade. Even though they're pressed into the floor, it's like a 360-degree lampshade. The ribs inhale, they naturally open up and out as you breathe in, and they naturally funnel in and down as you exhale. Use that breath. Let this all go. Your ribs attach all the way up here. So when you want to think of funneling the ribs towards the hips, think of letting it go from here and then just letting it go all the way down. One more big inhale breath. Fill up those ribs. Fill up the lungs. Exhale, mushing it, funneling it, connecting the pieces, and you're going to slowly drag one foot in and then the other. Take a deep breath in here, and you're going to draw one leg in, and you're either going to roll yourself up here, or you could roll over to the side, okay? You're going to roll yourself up to the top. Okay. From here, what a good little dog. You're being so patient. He desperately wants to go for a you-know-what, and I can't say the words or he'll start freaking out. Okay, so this is a bender ball. It's one of my favorite toys. I use it in almost every exercise we do. If you don't have one, which you might not, you could use like the little kids sort of beach ball idea. Not a giant beach ball, but you know the ones I'm talking about that you find in a giant bin. They've all got different patterns and things. I wouldn't use that underneath your sacrum, because this is something, the series we did with the legs, this adds a little bit of instability to it, which is kind of fun to play with. But for what we're going to do, you're going to put this between your knees. So it is just to add some adduction work. It's also to keep you connected. It's going to help you roll yourself back, roll yourself up. It's going to help you to extend your legs. So if you don't have a ball option, you could, again, maybe not this. This is kind of a weighted pillow, but you could take a different kind of pillow. I don't even know what else. You could roll up your sweatshirt, something. It's just something to push into it. Maybe you have a yoga block. That could go in there, or a kid's box. It's just something so that it reminds you to draw to that center line. The more you connect to this center line, running from the big toes all the way up, and it connects all the way through into the roof of the mouth, really. And the more you can tap into that, even if my legs are apart, I'm still thinking about that center line, still thinking about it. That center line, whether I'm here rolling and coming up, is going to help me. Whether I'm here, it will help me. And if I'm here, scooping. Whereas if I'm scooping and I let that go, I lose everything, okay? So it's just that connection piece. And if you don't have it, that's okay too, or something to use. Just keep squeezing
towards the center line. Keep squeezing like inner thighs together, okay? So you're gonna have a ball or prop of some sort. Bring a tea towel, or if you have a yoga band or something, you can use that. Maybe you have a resistance band. And then either small weights or cans of chickpeas, okay? Just have them all ready. You're gonna take your ball or your prop and put it in between the knees. You're gonna remove the meat from the bones here, okay? So, and you're gonna come right towards the end of your mat because we're gonna kind of work our way through the mat. So your feet are towards the end of your mat or your beach towel. I'm grounding into my feet. So I'm grounding my big toe, my pinky, and my heel, sitting up nice and tall, sitting up and out of those sit bones, pushing into that ball. So right there, that should feel like work. Like not 100%, oh my goodness, work, but you're on. Everything is on and everything is connected. You're gonna take a great big breath. I'm growing tall through the crown of my head here, and then my elbows are wide, and I'm gonna scoop my belly back. So I'm gonna adjust my feet here a little bit. Scoop the belly back. I'm looking towards my thighs or my ball. Take a big breath in, and I'm gonna exhale and articulate back up and scoop. And back up. And scoop. We're going to add on. So I'm going to scoop. One leg is going to extend. And I'm going to articulate back up out of those sit bones. Don't let anything go. And I'm going to scoop, alternate the leg. Carving up. And we're going to go into both legs. You're going to scoop the belly back. So I'm in a C curve here. So I'm not dropping my chin. I'm not back here. I'm trying to make a C from my knees through. Okay, so take a deep breath in. I'm trying to maintain that. I'm going to drag the toes back. Heels are lifted. Take a deep breath in. Here's the legs again. Lift and lift. I'm just holding it this time. Staying in the C curve, squeezing my ball. Breathing. Take a breath. Same position, lift the toes. This is a lot right here. So this might be where you stay. If it's feeling okay, you challenge it. Keep breathing. If this is feeling good, we're going to challenge it again. Both legs into your teaser. This is a lovely way to graduate up into a teaser. Maybe we stay up here. Add a pulse into that ball. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the squeeze. Bend. Maybe you release those arms. I'm going to go palms up, ready to receive whatever this day is going to bring. I'm still scooped back a little bit in through my belly. I'm going to lift those legs, and I'm going to squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it, drop it, and then I'm going to plant it, and I'm going to come back up. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to go into butterfly. So, soles of the feet are together, or your version of together. This is also something too. We've all got different range of motion through that hip joint. So this is also something where you could, just to keep it connected, right? We want that connected chain. So you could still put a yoga block or a pillow between those feet, okay? Just something to connect it. If you're able to bring the soles of the feet together, they don't have to be way in here. You can take them out here. And actually, I prefer them to be a bit in front of you for this one, because you're gonna take your ball or your pillow, whatever you've got. Maybe you add extra things to it. You might be here. Boom, okay? You're gonna take your hands here. I'm gonna probably make a fist. I'm gonna take a big inhale breath. We're gonna just go into spine forward. So I just want you to take a breath out of those sit bones, energy lifting through those legs. I'm gonna scoop the belly back. I'm gonna round myself forward. Every exhale breath, I drip down a bit. So my goal here is to actually be able to rest and let go. So if that means you have to bring the legs in, if that means you have to bring another pillow into it so that you can breathe up higher, it's okay. It's all right. We just want to get into that passive position. Forward. And just let it go. So I'm still scooped back. I still have some energy lifting through my legs. And just forward breathing. This is where you can tap into that idea of the lampshade that our ribs make. They 360 degrees around us. Breathe into the back and the side ribs here. Fill it right up. As you exhale, feel them funnel in and down and keep you connected. Our ribs are pliable. Our ribs move. I think we get stuck in the fact that we think they're stiff and rigid, and they actually are great assisters. Well, they are the assisters of breathing, as well as your intercostal muscles, everything, all the little muscles in between your ribs. Oh my goodness. So important to find that connection. Just breathe. Take one more breath here. Notice, are you holding through those shoulders, through your traps? And now right here, you're going to exhale. I'm going to slowly start to stack it up. And I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to remove all of my props out of the way. Okay. We're going to take this ball with us still, and we're going to come back down onto our back. So you're going to have the ball in between your knees. Again, it could be a pillow. It could be a kid's ball, whatever works for you. And you're going to have your cans of soup or your weights close by. Squeezing into that ball, and you're going to roll the spine down. Settle everything down. So your feet are hip width, maybe even a little bit closer, but you're drawing into that ball. And in this position, you're in neutral spine. So I want you to think about the sit bones. Even though you're not sitting up and on them, they're there. I want you to think of them grounding. Think of the tail is down, but you have like a little handful of blueberries underneath your low back. So in this position, I want you to inhale to prepare, and I want you to exhale, connecting the ribs to hips, squeeze the ball, and you're going to go into imprint spine. So the pelvic wheel is going to roll as you mush your blueberries into jam. Take a deep breath here, and then exhale, releasing your tail. So there's your neutral little pocket again. Big inhale breath. Exhale, squeeze that ball. Roll the tail and mush your blueberries. Big inhale. And then exhale, releasing your tail back to neutral spine. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, breath. And release. So this is the same
movement we do for those that do bar with me. This is our tuck and release. I don't like to use the word tuck, but in bar we kind of say that because we're in a standing position. But it's that idea of, can we mobilize through the sacrum, through the pelvic wheel? Can we get it moving? And release. From here, let's go up into a hip roll again because they're just super yummy. Take a big breath in, squeeze your ball. Pelvic wheel rolls, and now we're going to keep rolling. We're rolling and trying to peel one vertebra at a time up off of your mat. When you get to the top, so I am just above my bra strap is lifted, my upper thoracic is down on the ground. My collarbones are wide. Energy through the fingers like I'm reaching towards my toes. So there's this pull, this magnetism. Energy from my shoulders shooting out my knees. I'm going to squeeze into that ball for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that squeeze, and now I'm going to melt from the sternum. Rolling. And release the tail. We're going to do that again. I'm going to shift my feet in a little bit. Take a deep breath in, like in towards my bum a bit. And now I'm going to roll through that pelvic wheel. There's my squeeze into the ball. Rolling the pelvic wheel. I get so much more connection if I squeeze that ball into my center line. Rolling it all the way back up. I'm going to stay here for a second. I'm going to keep lifting the hips. I'm going to squeeze my ball, and then I'm going to lengthen one leg. I'm going to tap the toe down, toe, ball, heel, lift both hips up again. Other leg. Toe, ball, heel, squeeze my ball, big breath, and I'm going to melt. Unraveling the bones, back down to the ground. Big breath in there. And you're going to just bring the knees into the chest. I'm going to take that ball out. I'm going to grab my tea towel or my belt. I'm going to plant, here, let's go plant the left foot or whatever foot works for you. I'm going to bring my right knee in. I'm going to hook that tea towel around the foot. I want you to get the idea of, for those that do Pilates, it's a bird on a perch. So the idea of you're articulating through the metatarsus of your foot. I'm trying to push my heel and my toes like a bird on a perch, like this carved position, through the arch. I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to lengthen that leg up. I'm going to breathe into it. I'm trying to draw energy and ground down into the floor from my booty and push up through the arch of my foot. So you should get a crazy back line opener. If it's too extreme, soften the knee out a bit. You can always push back into it, soften it, and push. Breathe into that position. It's nice here to have something to hold because then you can ground your shoulders down into the ground. Keep that chest open. It's not cheating to use a prop. It's not cheating. I don't know why we all think when we have to use things to make the ground or your toes or whatever closer that it's cheating. It's not. We all live in a different body. Take a breath. I'm still connected. Ribs to hips. I'm in a bit of an imprint spine here because my leg is lifted. And then I'm just going to release that and plant my foot. Opposite leg comes in. Find my bird on a perch. And then I'm going to just start to lengthen it. So I have one leg that has a lot more range and this one does not. So it will get there, but I really have to kind of play with it. I got to juice it up a little bit. So in this tide, it can't go right there, so I bend and stretch it a little bit. And then when I kind of feel it warms up a bit, I'll leave it there. to breathe. So the back line of my leg is on fire, but in a really good way. So I'm trying to ground through my sacrum, through my sit bone, and pushing up through the arch of my foot. Breathing through the back line of my legs. I'm connected through the arms, shoulders, ribs to hips. This leg, what's happening with this leg? Is it doing this? Ground it, and you're still pull to that midline. Pull to your center line like you're squeezing that ball still. It's going to completely change what you're doing. So everything is on. Nothing is taking a time out. One more big breath in. Exhale. And then I'm going to inhale to bend it and release it. We're going to do one more with this. You're going to bring one knee in. Exhale. Here's your imprint spine. You're going to hook both feet. So your foot position for this, we're not thinking so much about articulating through the foot as we are of stomping the heel. So it's more toes to the nose, heels to the sky. So I'm going to take a big breath in. I'm going to exhale. And I'm going to lift. So I am almost pushing out into the lateral line of my towel. So I'm pushing, I'm trying to open the feet, but not past the hip joint. So I'm pushing into that pinky toe line. And this is like awake, big time. I'm grounding the shoulders. And I'm going to lengthen the heels to the sky, straightening the legs a bit. And again, your range, you might be here. And that's okay. You're going to get the same engagement. Pressing, toes to the nose, heels to the sky, push out. Soften. Toes to the nose, heels to the sky, push out into that lateral line. And soften. Couple more. Bending it in, take a breath. Releasing it. You could take that underneath here if you wanted. And you could use it to assist you to sit up. Okay, so now we're going to get your cans of soup or your weights. You're almost done, you guys. Okay, so in this position, you have a couple options. I was going to do it from kneeling. You could roll your mat up a few times if you need extra cushion for the knees. You could roll a blanket up. You could put pillow underneath your knees if you need that for your knees, okay? You could sit for this, or maybe sit up off of a pillow so that, again, those hip flexors are turned off and you can actually sit up rather than slouch back. So it's about getting you up and tall out of your sit bones. I'm going to show this from kneeling, and I'm going to add my ball again just to keep that connected. We're going to add our little weights. So take a deep breath in here. I'm exhaling to squeeze my ball. I'm going to bring those arms forward. I'm going to inhale them down. I'm going to exhale, lift. I'm trying to think I'm wide across my collarbones. I'm growing through the crown of the head. I'm grounded through the knee, but I'm pushing up out of the knee as I'm growing through the crown of the head. I'm going to add a bend in the elbow. Out. And you're going to open into offering and close and back in. I'm still squeezing the ball. This
time we're going to stay out there. So we're going to open into that offering. We're going to stay here. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and I'm going to go into a modified butterfly here. So it's an oblique or side bend. So I'm thinking of grounding through this knee as I open. I don't know if you can see it. I might have to sit it down. My camera's in a bad angle, so that you can ground it and reach. Bring it back to center. Exhale up. So I'm really grounding this hip down. Think of a side bend. Think of a mermaid variation. And bring it back up. Exhale. I'm carving the underside, opening the top side. So it's like you're trying to create all those rolls. Yeah, that's right. Big breath. And bring it back up. One more time. Carve the underside. Open those ribs. Breathe into that controlled motion. You're not just dumping over into a nice big stretch. You're working. Pull it back to center. Hug a tree. You're going to hug forward like it's a big tree trunk. I don't know, with everything going on, maybe it's a giant barrel of wine. I don't know, whatever makes you happy. And then you're gonna open into that W fly. So from the side, again, you could still be here. I'm gonna round it. I'm flexion of the spine here. And then I'm gonna restack to neutral and W fly it. From the knees, I'm going to scoop and round it. My beach ball is still big. I'm going to open. Again, modify if you have shoulder injuries like I do. One side of my beach ball is nice and round. The other side is quite deflated. Scoop the belly back. Carving, there's that C curve. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm here. Drawing the shoulders down. Scooping the belly back. One more time. You could add a little extension. Breathe. Again, you're not popping everything and pushing the belly out. It's a controlled opening into extension. And then just restack those bones back up. Okay, guys, to finish it, you could spend time doing pigeon and side stretches and all kinds of stuff. We're just going to do a cat-cow so that we get the flexion and extension through the spine to finish it. The beautiful thing about all the work we've done today is it's strengthening you and lengthening you as you do it. So you're not left with a whole bunch of stretches you have to do at the end. You're doing it the whole time. It kind of works in opposition. You're working one side of the muscle and the other side is lengthening as one is strengthening. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, so just find a position. Knees are underneath the hips. Hands are underneath the shoulders. I'm not here and I'm not here. I have to find that neutral spine. Okay, so neutral cervical and neutral spine. So imagine I still have that little tiny pocket of blueberries. So I'm not here holding on to a watermelon, and I'm not here. I have to find that middle ground. So maybe you have to kind of mobilize and feel it. Okay, so I'm thinking of energy out my tail and energy out the crown of my head. Take a deep breath in here. I'm pushing the tops of my feet down. If your feet don't like that position, you could be here. You could also add a pillow or that ball in between your feet. There's that connection drawing into the midline. Again, nothing is turned off here. Everything is integrated. Breathe into this. Big inhale breath. I'm going to exhale to scoop my pelvic wheel. Going and trying to open through lumbar, low thoracic,
Mid-thoracic is trying to arch up like a cat. Upper thoracic is opening, and I'm trying to let my head hang. All right? In this position, it's hard to fully let go. So maybe you gotta walk yourself back, hang out of it a little bit. Imagine that I'm pulling you up by a belt, and you could just hang out of it and let it go. In this position, nod your head. Yes. No. Let it go. Don't let that neck hang on. Take one more inhale breath here. Now we'll start to flow it. You're going to exhale from your tailbone. So that pelvic wheel is going to start to articulate through. Start to wheel the shoulders down. Ribs are still connecting to the hips. So again, once I come here, I'm not going into that dump. It is very controlled, and I'm opening the chest. I'm mushing it open. Drawing the shoulders down. Again, I don't want to be here. I want to think my neck is in neutral. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze into that connection through the ball and the feet. Take a breath. And now articulate from my tail again. Carving the belly to the spine. Opening into flexion. Creating space, creating breath through and between each vertebra. And again, let it go. Big breath into it. Let's go through that one more time. You could do this as many times as you want. Thinking of that space, thinking of that slow articulation of the spine. Squeeze into that ball. Push those shins down if you can. Articulate through one more time into extension. Take a breath here. And release to neutral. Find that long line again. You're going to take the ball or pillow out. You're going to bring it forward. You're going to take the knees wide, toes together. You're going to push back. This time you're down into like a child's pose. So you're going to lengthen. If you can't get there, you could always stick a pillow here so that you can actually let go, okay? Your hands are going to come on top of the ball or whatever that pillow is or block in front of you, and you're going to lengthen out. And you're trying to grow from your tail through those fingertips. And just breathe into that long spine. Breathe into the armpits, the lines of the arms, the side body. Great work today, you guys. I hope it felt awesome in your body. I hope it helped you connect your breath and your mind to the movement in your body. I hope it helped you focus on you and what you're capable of. How important your self-care and wellness is every day. Maybe even more so right now with everything going on in the world. Stay connected, stay healthy, stay safe, stay home. Be kind to each other. Take a deep breath in. And you're going to exhale. You could let it go here. Maybe you're here, and you're just going to scoop the belly back. You're going to restack those bones one more time, nice and tall. Take a big breath here. You can bring the legs back together here. Bring it up, take a deep breath in, and just let it all go. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
that moving helped you. See you next time.